We're back with more GAWT. Now it's time for Grown Ass Women News. Each week, I'll get Erica's take on the week's entertainment news, current events, and news about grown ass women. And this is, you know what it is, an election update.
Do we have music?
Actually, no, but
we
we've got a lot to get through. Okay, Harris has been campaigning across Michigan and Philadelphia. John Legend and Bruce Springsteen performed at a rally featuring Obama. Michelle Obama was also on the campaign trail. She gave an awesome speech about the reason why we should elect Harris. And the Harris campaign aides argue that the race is shifting in her favor and that her warnings about Trump and abortion are breaking through. Michael Bloomberg, who has given less to Democrats this year in 2018 and 2020, donated $50 million to support Harris, as well as Bill Gates has given $50 million. You know, she's moving along. She did Club Shay Shay, which, you know.
I haven't seen that one yet. When is that coming on? Because I got to see that.
It's out. You can see it. So she's trying to appeal to everyone. This is the little roundup of what I've been reading online about Trump versus Kamala. The Trump campaign denounced a comedian's offensive jokes about Puerto Rico and minorities in a rally in Madison Square Garden. Republican lawmakers also distanced themselves from the remarks.
I saw the comedian, and to me, obviously horribly racist, but the number one rule of comedy, as you know, Lonnie Love, is be funny.
Yes.
I mean, if it was funny, I'd be like, okay, that's what, it was clever. No, this was not even funny. The whole crowd was just like, you're not funny. And he had to kind of try to walk it back himself in the moment.
Well, I don't even know why they needed to have a comedian like that to come on and warm up the crowd. This was a huge rally. Some people, have different viewpoints about it. But, the thing is that the guy, he insulted Puerto Rico, he insulted Black people, he insulted Jews,
Absolutely.
And he insulted Puerto Ricans so much that the three Puerto Ricans united like the
triumvirate of
J-Lo, Bad Bunny,
yeah,
and Ricky Martin.
You don't come for them. They come together. Like, so the Wonder Twins or whatever activate. Don't come for them.
They were like, nope, we're done.
And they have over like millions and millions of followers on social media.
They posted a Kamala ad, all three of them at the same time. So it was like, no, we're coming together. And so J-Lo had already expressed her support for Kamala back in September. And so had Ricky Martin. This was the first time that Bad Bunny actually gave his support. And this is what happens when we get to the end, you have to make sure that you're hitting all demographics. And what that comedian did was open the way for people to actually start saying, hey, this isn't cool. And that was not cool. But you know what is cool? Beyonce and Kelly were in Houston for Kamala. That was a really great rally. And first, Miss Tina came out and she gave her spiel. And then Kelly and Beyonce came out walking hand in hand.
Cute.
And this was like the first time that I think both of them have been at a rally for Kamala. And Kelly's speech was awesome.
Oh, so good. She killed it.
And then Beyonce, of course, looking fabulous. She gave her shout out to Houston and also why it was important. And I think the most important thing that I heard from her, she says, I'm not here as a celebrity. I'm not here as a singer. I'm here as a mother. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just great. It was right on point.
Absolutely. I think they both made really good points. But can I tell you what I took away from that?
What?
I love that they had their own version of the pantsuits on. I love Kelly's pantsuit. I thought was great. I thought that was homage to the BP, right? And it was like a very menswear tie.
It was an oversized pantsuit,
which is on trend right now. I thought she looked beautiful. I think they're obviously. Why are you laughing? I thought I made a whole point. I was trying to make a whole point.
Your boy Trump got a little, I guess, jealous, and he said, yeah, Kamala, the next day at his rallies, he said Kamala is having a dance party with Beyonce.
And you weren't invited, and you were not invited.
Well, that started a whole Beyonce trend on TikTok. It was remixed and put to a beat.
Joe Biden is asleep. Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce. 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 Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce.
And a lot of people just enjoyed enjoyed that whole thing.
Not
I posted
with Trump
it.
doing the dance, not this
Oh
way.
my, it's just too much. I think a lot of people kind of, because there are some people who's like, well, we shouldn't be joking at this time. We don't take anything serious
You have
as
to
Black
joke.
folks.
I'd be ready to jump off a cliff if it wasn't for this laughter,
Definitely. Well, quickly, here is some good news. 1960s civil rights protesters who staged historic sit-ins finally have arrest records cleared. Yes, since 1960s, they've had arrest records. So, and some of them have died. They didn't live long enough to get their arrest records cleared. So they've done it anyway. Two men that are still living. This was some protest that happened in Colombia. Their name is Bowie and Charles Barr. They were able to get their arrest records cleared. And this is something that's happening for all of people back in the 60s that had these sit-ins, that were getting arrest records and arrested. They're getting their records cleared, and it took only 53 years to do it. So I think it's about time. I think that is good. People don't understand when you have an arrest, there are certain things that you can't get. You can't get a security clearance. There are certain jobs that you can't get. So that's why it's important. And, you just don't want to die, knowing that you did something that was right, but it's still on your record, because you don't know how in the future how they're going to take it. So I'm glad that they were able to get it expunged and everything.
Absolutely. I mean, vindication is a huge thing.
Two other people that may look like they're going to get out of jail are the Menendez brothers. Hey, how about that?
I mean, listen, I grew up in LA at a time when this was going on. I was like, probably in high school or whatever, and I grew up right near them. I grew up in West LA, and it was all anybody was talking about. And those are the kind of guys I went to school with and grew up with, like little rich guys who, at the time, we all thought, oh my God, like they just wanted to get money from their parents, so they killed them. So I would never have believed that the tide would have turned where we're looking at it from their perspective, because all this stuff about them being abused, that wasn't something that was really known about or even kind of made public at the time. And to see this whole shift to them being victims, I mean, is good and also bad. I mean, depending on which way you think about it. But, to your point about being vindicated, if this is true that they were abused, then I think they have served their time.
It was the fact that they had one trial and it was declared a mistrial. Then in the second trial, they were not allowed to talk about any of the abuse.
Exactly.
And so that is where you get into the murky waters of were they given a fair trial. So that's what's happening right there.
Well, there's also a cultural component. I mean, listen, I've been obsessed with that. I've watched all the documentaries. I watched the show, the Ryan Murphy show. And one of the things I think it's a cultural thing, and it's also, I think, where we're moving culture as a culture ourselves into a world where we understand that men can be abused too. And I think that's why, a jury today would be much more compassionate about that versus how they would be back in the 80s.
Definitely. Well, we'll see what happens with that. And moving on, Hallmark is being sued for ageism. Hallmark Executive VP of Programming, Lisa Hamilton Daly, told her staff she did not want to cast old people. This is allegedly saying that they did not fit with her image for the channel. A new age discrimination lawsuit filed against the studio claims. In the suit, Hamilton Daly is quoted as singling out Holly Robinson Pete and Lacey Chabert, who are both 60 and 42 respectively, as examples of old talent that needed to be replaced. And both actors have starred in Christmas movies and shows on the Hallmark Channel. Basically, quote, Lacey's getting older and we have to find someone like her to replace her as she gets older, Hamilton Daily allegedly said. Of Robinson Pete, she said, no one wants her because she's too old and getting too expensive. She can't play leading roles anymore, the suit alleges.
Listen.
First of all, can we put up a picture
Yes.
of Holly Robinson Pete? If you've seen her lately, she does not look 60 at all. And, you know, this is just another testament. This is a woman executive doing this to another woman.
That's horrible.
See, when I tell y'all that all women don't support other women, no. This is another example. This is another example of it.
This is a cutthroat business, unfortunately. And you don't think that that woman is trying to keep her job because she works for a man and she's trying to dictate to what she knows that man wants?
This lawsuit is being brought about by the industry veteran. Her name is Perry. She was a casting director, and she said she received strong annual performance evaluations, but she's 72 years old and she's been let go. So she's the one that's bringing the suit. She's the one that's giving the tea about what has been said about Holly Robinson Pete. And it's funny because Holly went on the Jennifer Hudson show, and she, you know how Jennifer Hudson, they have this thing where they walk and they tape and they're walking to the stage. Mm-hmm. And Holly posted that, and she put, yeah, not bad for an old actress. So, you know, she's definitely throwing shade. I posted about this, and ooh, the ladies were mad in the comments. They were like, woo. They were like, no. They were like, we like them. They better not go, or we gonna go from Hallmark and go over there to Lifetime. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Well, first, also 42. Like, she's 42. When did that become old? Like, Lacey Spears is 42. I mean,
you know in Hollywood how they are. Ugh. Moving on, somebody who's in her 40s and decided to step out, Gisele Bundchen. She's 44 years old and she is pregnant and expecting her first child with her boyfriend Joaquin. And sources close to the model confirmed to TMZ that she's about 5 or 6 months along in her pregnancy. They said they waiting on the birth to find out if they have a boy or a girl, allegedly. You know, TMZ found out all of it.
Oh, yeah.
She already has 2 kids with the ex-hubby, Tom Brady. And we are told that Gisele told Tom and the kids about her baby before the news got out. I thought that was nice.
Well, that's good.
Gisele and Tom divorced back in October 2022. And I think she was just fed up with Tom and this damn football.
Before we get into this, check your bushes for TMZ because they be in your bushes.
Like, they sure do.
They be in your bushes, in your business. But to your point, we talked about this last week about football widows, right? Like, you know, now that football's on every night, like you can't find your husband. And that's even not professional football players. That's just your basic husband on the couch on Sunday where you can't even talk to him. So Tom Brady, you know, that's his life. It was. And she was fed up with it, to your point. So he gives her free time, and she's going to train the kids to do karate. And she's like, okay, well, maybe I'll do karate with the kids too. And now look who her baby daddy is, karate guy.
Basically, Tom Brady retired. Then he unretired for another season. He was addicted to football. They say he literally chose football over his family.
Even if you're Tom Brady, you can't leave your woman alone and disgruntled and let her take karate with some hot guy.
It's funny because Tom, after the news came out, he posted on his Instagram stories like this thing from the landslide. That. And it was like, the landslide brought me down. Oh, I'm like, okay, here we go, Tom.
All right,
I'm sure you can find someone to help you.
Yeah, he's Stevie Nicks all of a sudden. Give me a break. He's not a 70-year-old woman. He'll be fine.
Moving on. Sharing her boyfriend, Alex.
Wait, before you get into this, can I just do the backstory about how
what?
about how I missed out on meeting Cher.
To be all honest and fair, I did not know this was going to be like this. I got an invite to Cirque du Soleil, and I was like, oh, they gave me another ticket. So I was like, Erica, you want to come? She's like, no, I got dinner with my friend. I said, okay. So
No, I didn't say I didn't want to go. I said I would love to come, but unfortunately, I already have plans. That's a different way of saying it.
anyway, you put me down, and I was like, all right, and I just went, and who was there? A whole bunch of celebrities. I did not know that there were going to be so many people, but the most interesting was Cher and her boyfriend, Alex Edie Edwards, and he brought his son Slash to the premiere. It was called Kazoo. Cher is 78 years old and her boyfriend is 38 years old, and they bought the 5-year-old, and I got a picture with all of them.
Of course you did. Put it up,
So cute. I was just excited when I saw Cher because I grew up with Cher.
Of course.
I mean, in the 70s, just her beauty.
And we had just talked about her last week too, about her getting into the Hall of Fame. Like, she's a beast. She's the best. She's like the GOAT.
She was so sweet. I walked up to her, not, but he was like listening. And, I do think that he knew who I was. So right. I'm like, okay. And I said, hey, can we take a quick picture? And because we were all up there with the other artists, they let us go up with the performers on stage. So it was really a nice thing. And if you are in the Santa Monica area, Kazoo is a wonderful, wonderful show to go see.
Well, I'm salty about it, but it's okay. I'm happy for you.
You can't be salty because that was on you. That wasn't on me. So it's like, I invited you.
I'm happy for you.
Anyway, moving on. Adele at her show, she's been doing these weekends in Vegas, and who surprised her? None other than Celine Dion. Celine Dion surprised her. She has this residency at Caesars, which was where Celine did all of her famous residencies. And I think Celine kind of kicked it off and made it cool for other artists now to get a residency. Because, it used to be, if you do Vegas, it's like, that's the last thing ever.
Well, your girl Cher even said that on the Hall of Fame. She was like, when I was doing Vegas, it was like the death row, basically, of your career.
Definitely. But now it's,
now everybody does it for sure.
But in this, evidently Adele didn't know that Celine was going to be there. And the thing about when you go to Adele's concert, she could see that whole room. Like, once they put the lights on, you could see the whole room. And so she immediately saw Celine and bust out in tears. Aww. And she was so emotional, and then Celine bust out crying, and they just had this great moment that was so well received. And Adele posted this wonderful thank you to Celine. She said she had been performing in Celine Dion's room at the Coliseum for almost 2 years now, and finally Celine came to see her, and she was just over the moon about it. And it was just happy to see two women support each other and love each other. The one thing I will give about Adele support everybody. She supports Beyonce. She supports the female singers, and she's very outspoken. And I just love that about her. I really, really love that about her. So she's great.
I love Adele too, and she's so talented. But can I tell you, mad props to Miss Dion for being able to, that's a diva move, to pull focus and not look like a bitch.
Let me get out of here. But before we go, I have one question. Have you seen Dwyane Wade's new statue?
Oh, dear. Dwyane Wade has seen his statue. I saw him looking at it, and it was like, those moments when they capture it in a picture. You have to get this scene where he's looking at, he's trying to be like, oh, he was more like,
Well, everybody has been talking about it. They've been making jokes, and there's a lot of criticism, but Dwyane Wade says he doesn't care. He says, I don't care. The social media world is about opinions. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone uses y'all opinions. Please talk more about us. Talk more about a statue. Come on down to see it. Take some pictures. Send some memes. We don't care.
Well, wasn't he able to give notes? I mean, like, didn't he get to, like...
Yeah, he did. He gave the notes, and that's what you got. He was right. They got pictures of him looking at it and
Oh my
holding
God.
the face and all of that. He did all of that. So
Well, maybe that's what he thinks he looks like. I don't know. You know how you have a
I mean, it was supposed to
image of
be
yourself.
that picture of him. It was like one of those championships, and I guess he was yelling and screaming. But it's something about his face that it's just if like I need to see a side to side picture of that actual picture and what they were trying to depict because it didn't look like him at all.
Well, I feel
So,
like
but
brass does not translate. Like a lot of these brass, statues don't look like the person. Versus if you go to Madame Tussauds and the wax, looks.
yeah, the wax.
The wax is a better material.
No, I think it's the sculptor that took focus.
I know, who are they getting in the NBA to do these? Who's the sculptor they're using? Because I mean, Kobe's is not great either. Shaq's none of them are great, in my opinion.
Nah, I know some really hip sculptures. I think it's the artists. I think it's it's like how you look at somebody and go, that's not him. That is not him. Why would you even? Can't you start over? Like I don't know. But hey, as long as Dwyane Wade is happy with it, then I'm happy with it. Go on, like he said, go down there and take pictures with it, make fun. So, okay, y'all, we've had enough. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna jump into today's topic with our girl Mo Collins. This is Grown Ass Women Talking.